Unless you're blessed and you retire for work, receiving a pension, and more likely living in those amazing southern regions, municipalities with less than 20,000 inhabitants, unless you live off your savings because you're a high net worth individual or using your passive income as your main and income source, you're working. Simple assumption. So what happens tax-wise when you move to Italy and you become a tax resident but you're working? First thing first, we must understand if you work for an Italian company or a foreign one, under the Italian or the foreign payroll. Depending on where they are located, you may have to file your taxes and deduct your taxes paid abroad in the tax return, or simply recap everything from the CU, from the Certificazione Unica, given to you by the Italian employer. Also, the contract makes a lot of difference in terms of fiscal obligations. If you work as an employee, regardless of your employer's legal address, you don't have to move ahead except for, the tax return to be filed once a year. On the other hand, if you work as a contractor or as a freelancer, you're likely required to go with the partita IVA and yearly obligations, plus all the problems with the Italian pension scheme, mandatory for freelancers and business owners. If you're a remote worker from Italy as an employee for a foreign company, your working position qualifications could trigger some problems in terms of the permanent establishment of your company. At the same time, it seems like having high-skilled position or spending some years abroad is the best way to qualify for the benefici impatriati and cutting 50% of your Italian rates for the first 5 years. The place of performance, however, could disqualify your position, your benefit, if you spend the majority of the calendar year abroad, even if you keep your legal address in Italy. Let's assume now that you work for an Italian or foreign company. How long have you signed the employment contract for? What happens if you move to Italy and after 12 months or a couple of years you resign and even worse, you get fired? If you benefit from tax incentives such as the regime impatriati in this case, you must commit to Italy for 2 or 5 years minimum. So leaving earlier means you have to give back the 50% you have saved, plus penalties. The blessing or the curse of being a work in Italy comes with timing, knowing also that you have 2 hard choices to make right away. You must know, and I would say in advance, how long you're planning to stay in Italy. You have to make a decision within 12 months maximum, since if you don't opt for the regime impatriati in the first fiscal year that you're eligible to, chances for you to jump on backwards are very slim. And then you need to pick one between before or after July 1st. According to the domestic rules, spending more than 6 months in Italy could automatically flag you as a tax resident. And the flip side, moving after July 2nd could offer more flexibility, more room to maneuver in terms of, let's say, test driving your Italian life, if you know what I mean. Without even speaking about if and when you have to go with the partita IVA adventure, since regardless what your personal income is, it will be like, since regardless where your clients are, there are fiscal obligations, you must comply with timing. It sounds like moving to Italy and working from Italy brings a lot of troubles, issues, and very few benefits. Some people may say, oh, you know what? That's a fair price you have to pay to enjoy the dolce vita. So I'm asking you, is this your case?